welcome to my home here in Rossnowla in County Donegal. My name is MarieAnn Mc Loughlin Dwyer. I'm an author and I'm a producer and at the moment a wee wannabe filmmaker. That's why I'm here tonight to introduce an interpretation of my book, The Sisters MC Nally. It's a couple of extracts from the book, a couple of the final 2 chapters. So I did want to screen this live, as a few of you know, in Bundoran at the Great Northern Hotel. That wasn't to be because of the restrictions that are now back in place with regard to cultural gatherings. However, there is a kind of a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel here, because doing my little premiere in this format via technology, I'm hoping to reach a little bit more than the original 30 that I was going to be allowed to gather at the Great Northern Hotel in Bundoran. So even though we're going to miss seeing each other live and miss another wonderful trip to the Great Northern Hotel, we'll do our best here tonight. So forgive me if you will, because I'm kind of scripted here, so I'm going to have to look away from time to time from the camera, just to make sure that I include everything and everybody in this wee video. So firstly, I suppose I would like to start off by talking a little bit about our actress in the piece. Now, Sarah Ferguson is the actress involved here, a wonderful actress from Garret in County Fermanagh. Sarah has, for her young age, she has an awful lot of experience and has done an awful lot locally with regard to stage work. I was really privileged and lucky to meet Sarah. I had seen her in a production at the Abbey Centre in Ballyshannon before everything locked down. A great production called All Shook Up. Great cast on the night. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I saw Sarah. When I had the opportunity, a small window to film, she really was a person that came to mind to me straight away. Having said that, we gave her the book and indeed the script. It's a narrative. We haven't scripted as such, but we gave her details of the job, I think about 4 days before she actually filmed. So, I mean, huge intelligence there with her acting process. And as you'll see from the film tonight, somebody I think we're going to see a lot more of. And by the way, was a massive privileged director. She was just a joy to work with. The second person I would like to mention is Garret Daly. Garret Daly was our cinematographer, was our everything on this production. Garret is just wonderful at set design and an all-round production. Garret would be known as a filmmaker in this country. His production company is called Mixed Bag Media. He has a couple of films behind him, many documentaries. Highly regarded, and his reputation would be international. I would say at this stage he's an award winner of several festivals, and very well known in Ireland for the calibre of his work. I would go as far as to say, without Gareth, I don't think we would have reached the levels that we reached with the whole look and tone of our film. So thank you, Garret Daly. I look forward to working with you again in the very near future, please God. So to talk about Colm, my husband, I have to say a huge thank you. It always makes me smile to think of the work that Colm gets involved with on any of my projects. I mean, he's done everything from driving to prop carrying to delivery guy to coffee man. He's worn all the hats really on my productions, and he's done it with a good heart, and he's one of the most supportive people, and my husband, so I'm lucky to have him. So I had to say, I know he's going to be wildly embarrassed about this part of the video, but thank you, Colm, for all your help. I want to talk a little bit about the community now that I was lucky enough to have embraced me about 3 years ago when I moved to Rossnowla. So I would absolutely consider that my communities here are not only Rossnowla but also Ballyshannon and Bundoran. Now, all 3 places have people that are just very involved in the arts and very supportive of the arts. We have, for example, Finnegan's Post Office here. Finnegan's Post Office, I learned when I arrived here, has been here for 125 years. Liam and Susan are remarkably supportive to the community. They have a wee library down there, and they have always embraced any work that I've sent down to them. John Travers and everyone involved at the Abbey Centre in Ballyshannon. John Travers was one of the first people to, help me network when I rolled into town with scripts and books under my arms. He was, himself and his wife Maureen have just been so valuable in the feedback that they have given me from my work. So I'd like to say thank you there. I'd like to say thank you to the Daly family in Bundoran. The Daly family, they're one of those families who just get involved, support. They do things, but behind the scenes, they're just there for you. They have been always the first on the scene if I'm trying to connect, link, find locations. So thank you, Amy, and thank you, Lisa, and thank you to the kids, of course, as well. So speaking of the Daly family, I'd like to talk a little bit about Karen McAniff, formerly Daly, and I'd like to talk about Brian McAniff and how instrumental they were by giving me a location to film at the Great Northern Hotel in Bundoran, a fabulous spot. So they allowed us in. They made us feel very welcome, and most importantly, they gave us this private set for the window of opportunity that we had during the COVID. We had one day, I think we did it in just over 8 hours. They let us in, free reign, and on top of that, we're just so hospitable. Now, that brings me on to Peadar Mc Henry, who I want to mention here tonight. Peadar, I hope you're looking in, and I want to just explain to you all what Peadar did on the day of the filming. So Peadar works at the Great Northern Hotel. We were, as I said, a small cast and crew for this film, 4 of us, and we needed an extra. And we needed an extra, as it happens, in the guise of a waiter. So out I went, spoke to Karen, and Peadar jumped straight in. I couldn't believe it. He did it with such a good heart. And the thing about it is, he did it so easily on camera, because, to put somebody in front of a camera, not only do you have the camera, but you have a lot of lights, and, it's very hard for anybody to just stand in front of a camera and to just move so easily. And Peadar did that. So tonight, Peadar, I'd like to say a big welcome. I hope you enjoy the film, and I hope your family enjoy the film, and thank you so much for participating so generously on the day of filming. So I'm going to look at my script now for a moment, because now I want to get on to actually talk to you about the book and what you're about to see in terms of the next few minutes, the next 15 minutes. So the Sisters MC Nally is a book primarily about the dynamics of women and the power and the potential of women within family life. The book itself opens in the 1970s, and it brings us right up to the present day. When writing this book, I looked at themes such as love, especially unconditional love. I looked at themes such as sacrifice and loss. Now, a great many of you did get back to me, on the early readings of the book, to say that they found the book to be, let's say, within the realms of tragedy, and yes, it certainly, I would agree, it is. However, what the book tries to do is journey us along the lifespan of several generations of family life, and with that comes, revelations of immense flaws and layers and complications that we all witness, endure and experience within family life. So I hope that you enjoy this short film. I hope that you are prompted in some way to reflect on the human condition, and indeed most extraordinarily of all, on the human condition with regards to family life. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to your comments. Can I just say at the end of the film, what is really important for me, and indeed all creators, for good or for bad, if you could make a little comment or give me your feedback. This helps me, with further projects. So thank you for joining us tonight. I look forward to meeting you all sometime in the very near future, safely, healthy. Slán go fóill. Good night.
Dr. Carol Ryan McNally pushed through the doors of St. Luke's Hospital on a dark November morning. The young, bright-eyed, confident academic and newlywed had just been locumed temporarily to the oncology ward. Traffic was congested all the way in from Sandyford, a plush suburb of Dublin on the right side of town. She held her plastic coffee cup in one hand and her mobile phone in the other. She checked for messages before she slipped into the staff room to put her bag and coat away. The door opened suddenly. A young, fresh-faced nurse walked up to the young, dark-haired doctor. "I'm sorry, Dr. McNally, I know you're only in the door, but there's a lady inside room 5. We need a declaration of death. Time of death was 6:05. I'll start the paperwork and follow you in. Niamh is in there now." What a start to the day, Carol thought to herself as she slipped into her white coat. She walked into room 5 and proceeded to wash her hands at the sink located at the foot of the bed. "Hi, Niamh, is it? I'm Dr. McNally." Nurse Niamh Costello looked hard at Dr. Carol Ryan McNally. She glanced over at Siobhan's bedside locker and then back at the young attending doctor. This lady was also a McNally. Placed in sight of the bed was a silver-framed wedding photo. Carol, James, Andy and Tessie smiled brightly in all their finery. Beside it was a smaller, beaten frame, a picture of the doctor's husband as a young boy. Nurse Costello looked pointedly at the young female doctor again. She doesn't have anyone listed as her next of kin. The nurse quietly slipped out of the dark inside room. It was 7 a.m. For the briefest of moments, Siobhan thought she saw the ghost of Father Johann walk through the doors of the stylish coffee shop on Grafton Street. But in fact, it was James McNally, her son. Siobhan's heart leapt like that of a child about to embrace her mother, having somehow been lost for years. Mom, it's great to see you." James embraced his mother tightly, remembering her particular scent. She seemed smaller somehow. She'd lost that plump look around her face. She always did carry a few extra pounds around her midriff. He remembered the days back to them scoffing apple pies, her favourite, when he was a boy. Oh, Jimmy, tell me everything. Look at you. Look at your suit. Your Granny Lil wouldn't believe it. I'm not messing. Oh, Jimmy, my boy. She couldn't stop touching him. She couldn't stop looking at everything. The briefcase, the suit, his silk tie. Will I get you a coffee, man? What would you like? Oh, just a tea will do me grand. I'm not used to all these new coffees. A tea will be fine, thanks. Siobhan looked down into the Cleary's bag. She wondered, should she show him the outfit now or wait and surprise him on the wedding day? She felt so excited. She had dropped 2 sizes without even trying. She looked out across at Brian Thomas and at all the glamorous ladies coming through. Everything seemed all right. Her boy was probably the most beautiful face she had ever seen. He really was the love of her life. James returned, and sitting close by, there was a strangeness to their physicality. She wanted to touch him, yet there was a small voice restricting this. He was a grown man now. She allowed him a space, and she couldn't wait to hear all the plans. Jimmy, I was thrilled to get your letter. And I haven't even met Carol yet. What will her parents think? She spoke quickly and with very little punctuation. Now, first things first. Siobhan continued. The last thing you want to be worried about on your wedding day is me and your Aunt Tessie making a show of you. We don't see eye to eye, son, but I know how to behave myself. James paused for what seemed to be a lifetime. Siobhan felt a tenseness and felt quite frightened. Her mother's intuition told her what was going to be said and what would subsequently be done. Ma'am, said James, I need to explain something. You see, it's complicated. He stared into his mother's eyes. Suddenly, with absolute clarity, it was all horrifyingly clear. He now seemed to her like an orphan child who had been corrupted by badness. We're going to make sure you receive all the pictures, your own album. Carol and I fully intend taking you out to dinner once we're home from our honeymoon. It will be our own special day, ma'am. Siobhan struggled to pull her thoughts together. But her world was now black and out of focus. Her world had just been shattered into 1,000 pieces. The sacrifice was not to miss her only child's wedding, but to remain calm, collected, and even jovial at this moment. Son, I never mentioned, but I promised Margaret O'Reilly that I'd pick up a few messages for her. I need to get them to her by 6. Oh, okay, ma'am. Right, well, but we'll stay in touch, yeah? Oh, yes, darling. We'll stay in touch. Siobhan left the coffee shop. She didn't look back. Siobhan entered a charity shop on Westland Row. She handed the Cleary's bag to Siobhan Maguire, the lady behind the desk. Jesus, Miss McNally, are you sure you want to be handing this in? The price tag is still on it. It belonged to a woman who died. Maybe the next person will get better luck with it.